I'm Ethan Nagel, Scouts.
Freedom is the right of all sentient beings.
Broadcasting live from the basement of the Pentagon. This is WTF Nation Radio.
This is a public service announcement from C.T. Fletcher. I will not contribute to the pussification of a nation. Get your punk ass out there and work for it, motherfucker.
I looked my woman in the eye sockets. I told her straight out. I just said it, man. I said it. I said, bitch, I'm the man of the house.
You said bitch, though. You called your wife a bitch.
Yeah.
Let's roll.
What's going on in the Philippines? What are you talking about? What happened in the Philippines? Clue me in. Broadcasting live from the Functional Veterans Center of Excellence this 9 June in the year of our riots dumpster fire. Hey, did you see that? Yeah, speaking of which, did you guys see the dumpsters on fire rolling down in LA? Man, woo, doggy. Welcome to WTF Nation. Welcome to WTF Nation Radio's Monday edition on US Army WTF Moments, broadcasting live. There's hot chicks there. Oh, you talking about the dumpster fire? Are you talking about? I don't know. I've met some. I don't know. In the past dumpster fires that I've experienced, I've had some. Yes, I've encountered some hot chicks. At any rate, oh, you're talking about the Philippines, mixed Asians. Oh, gotcha. Okay. All right. So, how y'all doing today? It's Monday. And, stop with the Philippines, man. Actually, you know what? Did you know that Los Angeles, the Los Angeles area, actually all around the coast of the West Coast in California is a predominant Filipino population there as well. So, yeah. Oh man, what is going on? We're gonna talk about the riots, and we're gonna talk about the all the other stuff happening on the West Coast. But something that hit the, how do I see this? What scale on the fuck around and find out scale do you predict are going to find out on the fuck around? Oh yeah, well, I mean they're gonna send some Marines in there. We got some updates because there's been some. But I wanted to talk to you guys about this story, real quick. Okay, so you guys know that how do I say this? A lot of influencers, military influencers, those that you see on TikTok, those that you see on Instagram, Twitter. I don't want to sound like we all talk, like we have a large meeting hall where the council sits. But we all talk. Usually will be an issue that, hey, did you see this? Did you see that? What's the story of this? As the pages have matured in age, most of the pages have gotten pretty good at communicating with each other. Not bad, right? I kind of enjoy that. I kind of enjoy the ISB, the Empire. Yeah, I kind of enjoy that ability to reach across different types of genres and different types of influencey genres to talk to other pages and other mill memers. So you guys know the one of the influencers, Viva Vargas, right? You guys know that he went to Fort Myer. And well, actually, let me rewind that a little bit. He was talking about the laundry situation, just the barracks in general, at Fort Myer, and he was kind of like, "Hey, if you need me to go down to visit your barracks and check it out, let me let me help you out. Follow me, silly goose. Let me see what's going on over at Fort Myer." So he's like, "I'll come by, visit, blah 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 blah." Well, true to his word. Hey, Hots Cots is in the chats, by the way, collab app that we got. And so he has been prominently posting what he's going to do at Fort Myer. Now, mind you, he is in the Army, and no big deal, right? You would think as a senior NCO, no big deal. He can go and discuss and talk and shoot the shit with the soldiers. I don't mean Spanky down at Fort Cav, Fort Stewart, Fort Benning, Fort Bragg, Fort Bliss. We've all been there to talk to troops. And we've done PT with the troops, or we hang out. Well, not so much PT as much because them kids, man, they'll break it off on you, man. We'll do some stuff with them and hang out and shoot the shit, smoke and joke and have chow with them at the DFAC. This is back in the day. And no issues, no warning. There was an incident. I would say not really an incident, or a time where me and Spanky visited a recruiting station, and everyone was awesome to us. They were very accommodating, and we were able to get, just hang out. Nothing big, no drama. We were there just to shoot the shit, hang out, and also other units that have invited us to go speak, to go hang out, do a little one-on-one session, or Chatham House rules, have a beer with us, like I did with 4th Infantry Division over at with their Devarty. So again, not a big deal. We would think it was not a big deal. Well, Viva Vargas, Johnny Vargas, making his promise, saying that I'm going to go to Fort Myer. I'm going to go to Fort Myer. I'm going to be doing this and I'm going to be doing that. Okay, cool. Yeah, well, whatever. Even made an announcement that he said, "Hey, just got to Joint Base Myer. Got to see if they fixed those washing machines." Okay, everyone's kind of like, yeah, all right. I mean, again, military influencers, members of the military, popular military personnel that you see on Twitter, TikTok, Instagram. It's not uncommon. It is not uncommon at all to see us out and about. Because again, that's how we connect to the audience. That's how we connect with the troops. Viva Vargas did approach the barracks as he said he was going to do, as he discussed, and so I'm just going to go ahead and let me show you what happened with that, and I'll let you guys decide. Let's watch.
So I'm in building 247 on Fort Myer, and I got some stuff up here. Looks like some biological growth. Maybe here a little bit on top of that. I'm no mold expert, but I did a video on the washers and dryers being broken, or the washers, and I told Joint Base Myer that I would buy them. I was like, I'll buy you 2 brand new ones. So we're just checking. So I found these. We got one 27 May, so pretty fresh, I understand work orders take a while. This one, 15 May. This one's not bad. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9 working machines. I love that. I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of nervous walking around these buildings because this is just not the barracks. Like, they work here. So I'm like trying to hide my face because I already got recognized once. Found a completely open room, so might as well just do a little room tour. Toilet. This barracks room looks like it's about to be turned over. Got a nice little couch. Fridge looks in good shape. Microwave. And these rooms, pretty good size. Nice, good closet. Love that. Okay, we got 2 more washers broken. 27 May, pretty recent. 23 May, still broken. These ones actually look brand new. Clean up your lint. We got another one. This one's not working as well. I lost count. Honestly, I have to edit this and figure out how many. But Fort Myer, I can't replace all of those washers that are broken, okay? But I'm still good for a couple of them. Let's chat. Let's sit down. Let's chit chat. I understand there's maybe a lack of personnel, lack of money, a little bit of both here and there. But what are we doing? I'm just here to follow up, okay? I'm not an enemy. Let me know if you need some help. Follow me, Silly Goose. So I'm in building 247 on Fort Myer, and I got some stuff.
Well. That video, that video, obviously, everybody wanted to know. Appreciate the update. Wow, thanks a lot. It's not me with Vargas. There you go. Follow me, Silly Goose. There we go. Not a big, we thought, okay, very Okay. Very, very good job. Very well. Okay. But, again, just another post that anybody else would do, just like somebody walking around doing the motor pool thing or walking around doing a field site. Not whatever. As soon as this video was shared, Fort Myer put a bolo out on him. They put a bolo to the MPs to detain and arrest him. I have never seen shit like that ever. I have never heard of it. This changes the whole dynamic now on the relationship of organizations within the U.S. Army and influencers. That now, do we got to watch our back? That we're going to have some overzealous MP say, hey, I don't like the way Viola Vargas, or hell, I don't like the way WTF Moments or WTF Dish. Is this going to change the dynamic? Look, I don't know what possessed anyone to even think about initiating a bolo to arrest and detain. Those are the words. Viva La Vargas. I don't want to, only because I enjoy chaos a little bit. I enjoy a little friction. Not saying that I wanted him to want him to get busted and get dusted up. But I did. We were all the influencers, the entire council. There were some very prominent military influencers that were watching this and following this, waiting to see what was going to happen. Really, Fort Myer? You were going to arrest an influencer for just highlighting the barracks? I'm going to go down Motor Pool Roll, Fort Cav. So since they fired first, and very good point that you have brought up. Very good point that you have brought up, Patrick. Since they fired first, given the rules of engagement, do the kid gloves come off on Hots and Cots and other meme pages? Well, I'm glad you brought that up, because currently, several high-ranking individuals within the Department of Defense, like the SecDef, and the Secretary of the Army are involved in this as well. And I'm going to assure you that Viva La Vargas will be okay. I'm going to say that again. It has gotten to defense level, stratospheric levels, and to include a service secretary to reassure Viva La Vargas that nothing will happen to him and he will not be arrested or detained. Now, the council, which I'll be honest with you, we're all talking in our chats, thinking about creating the council. I'm just going to say, a lot of fences have been mended with a bunch of mill meme pages, and to include emerging mill meme pages. And we were like, oh my, oh my God. If this is the route the Army wants to go, or I should say Fort Myer now, again, in talking with the senior ranking official today, somebody asked me about the barracks and our collaboration with Hots and Cots. And I said, yep. And it's usually a lot of the situations that we look into are a 60-40, kind of like a 60-40 dynamic. Meaning that said, I laughed. Did he have PAO? I laughed. Did he have Clario? Did he have PAO to photo and video on base? Does everybody else who posts on TikTok or is a military influencer have the same permission? I mean, that's a good question. Don't get me wrong. Even though everything that says, there's signs everywhere that says you cannot record with devices, blah, blah, blah. You can't record in arms room, blah, 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 blah. Got it. But we see a lot of individuals posting from their TikTok, from their Instagram, doing their lives, and yet have seen anybody get hemmed up or busted for it. I think it's kind of funny when you see them post their stuff and nothing happens. But God forbid WTF Moments posts a poster or a chain of command board. Then holy shit. So yes, there are several individuals, a high-ranking individual that I spoke to today asked me the real deal. Come on, Ken, come on. what's the real deal in the barracks? Is it what do you see in the barracks? What does Hots and Cots sees? What does Viva La Vargas see? What do you see? I said, well, I can speak for U.S. Army WTF moments that the majority, it's kind of like 60-40. 60% is no shit. The barracks fucking suck. Facilities suck. The way, just like the washers that you saw at Fort Myer, suck. 40% of it is Joe's just being Joe, running through the hallways. I should say riding through the hallways. Like we posted a video of a soldier riding through the barracks on a motorcycle. So yeah, some of it is self-inflicted, some of it is not. But to send out a bolo to detain and arrest. If you really want, thank you, Pip. It was going, everyone's literally, okay, what are we going to do if he gets arrested? What's going to happen if he does get arrested? Are there going to be anybody taking pictures and all this? Because we know we were standing by. And right now, Viva La Vargas is in D.C. right now. If you guys not knowing already, Viva La Vargas talked to the Secretary of the Army. And everyone likes to talk shit about how the relationship that we have with senior leaders or the leaders, the way of Viva La Vargas talks, a ton of individuals hitting the, this guy thinks, even in his comments, this guy thinks he can just fucking say what he wants. Nobody likes his shit. Nobody, the SMA, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, exactly. This looks like the SMA, blah, 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 blah. I could not imagine the reaction if a very prominent male influencer was detained and arrested doing something like this. Boy, they were close. They were close. So, I hope he called him a silly goose at the end of his meeting. Follow me, silly goose. So, yeah. We were even brought up in discussions and meetings about stuff. About a poster that we posted. About the Army birthday. I'm just going to say, a lot of you, especially when we read the comments, need to put the phone down, take a deep breath, and go touch some grass. Because holy shit. What poster are you talking about? Yeah, arrest him in front of the SMA. Could you imagine if that happened? Did you guys see that? Hey, I could just, Sergeant Major of the Marine Corps. Yeah, exactly. That'd be a whole new different meme page, a whole new different post, a video post. Hey, fool. I heard you got one of your guys arrested. Yeah, he was walking around the... he was walking around the... Again, I'm just going to say right now, you influencers, I will say that the Public Affairs Office is there to provide the commander's message, but they don't command shit. Literally is... one of the things that I've noticed when coming up and through the ranks and serving alongside my PA public affairs brethren, I've served with some good ones, don't get me wrong, some really good ones. But there are some in the community that get a little bit overzealous on what can and cannot be said, or what can be said, or who, whatever. We need some good swag for the Army birthday. We're all looking forward to the Army birthday. Well, all of us are, to include the individuals that will be in attendance from U.S. Army WTF Moments and WTF Nation Radio. We will have. So the poster that we were talking about, there was a poster that was posted that went around, and it's on U.S. Army WTF Moments' Facebook page that was posted yesterday at 16:30 p.m. This is where we got a lot of rage for it. Now, if you guys look at the guy all the way to the end, on the lowest part of it, the rank looks like it's either a chaplain or a specialist. Like somebody grabbed somebody's wrong PC. You know what I mean? And okay, we kind of like joked around. Let me get a little bit closer here because that way you can see it. Now, again, we've seen this image left and right. Didn't really think about it. Okay, whatever. Yeah. All right, whatever. But when we receive almost 200 messages about it, you know what? That looks like that's kind of look like a specialist rank when you think about it. So we posted, this is E4 Mafia blasphemy. Look at the major, always QC your media. And note, some say it's a CHAPS, some say it's an E4. What say U.S. Army? Well, this gave you guys an update on this. The Army, I didn't say the Army responded to publicly, but we got a message from the Army. It says, we can see what you're saying. We got it. Okay. Understood. We could go back and forth on this. So a shout out to the U.S. Army for giving us the love and at least be in the joke to kind of get all the joke. Now, to go back to Viva La Vargas and the conversations that he has had. Apparently, this ruffled up some feathers over at the Pentagon. Enough to where, you're going to get a new poster soon. Again, going back to the touching grass. Woo! Hey, man, take it easy with nothing's changed in the Army. A lot of the stuff is still the same. But again, I just couldn't imagine the reaction throughout the entire meme community. Had Viva La Vargas, Sergeant First Class Vargas, had been arrested for visiting the barracks. And again, I look now this changes the dynamic for us. Hey, Spanky, do you want to go meet at, Battalion Road? Do we want to go visit Fort Cav now? Go back to Fort Bliss? Only because I'm 1st Armored Division alumni, that's why. Or go back to Bragg, waiting for Josiah to show up. Or Benning. Now the influencers are like, okay. So again, that would have been hilarious. Had that happened, hilarious. I mean, of course, ha ha ha. It's kind of like, the veteran type of hilarious. Do you know what a veteran sense of humor is when it comes to what's considered hilarious? Say, for instance, you're running down the street and you're doing some movements and you got your weapon and he sees me, I'm down, and then you trip and fall. First thing you do is go, "Oh, you okay? Hey, man, you good, man?" "Yeah, I'm good." And then everyone laughs. Everyone's like, "Yep, I'm good." So again, just an update on that. Viva La Vargas had a warrant out for his arrest and was going to be detained. The next for his next clips. What was that? For his next clip, the bolo was put out not just because he was in housing, but he because he had a tattoo. Tattoos are bad. I did basic at Fort Bliss. Damn, Mike. Damn. Yeah, there you go. There's Josiah. There's my man. I can brag. So there's the there is the ruling on that. Now, I was kind of thinking, all right, cool. This is funny. This is okay. This is an interesting development. Everyone was kind of like waiting around. I'm not saying we were I was kind of pacing because me and him are friends, just to see what was going to happen if he was going to get arrested. So it would have been hilarious, but again, it would have sucked. And then, in a situation like that, what would have happened? We're going to since we're going to war game that. So, what is going to be the love the desert? Yeah. The claim racism if they do anything to I'm legal. Yeah, we're talking about that too. Don't deport me, bro. Oh man. All right, so that's I guess I think that sort of closes the chapter because the Secretary of Defense and the Secretary of the Army are now aware of this event. So yeah, there you go. That's kind of like the that's the deal. All right, the next story. As a matter of fact, let me well, I mean, this is kind of like a Viva La Vargas. Who has bail money? Yeah, exactly that. We would have bailed him out. Oh yeah, people of Vargas would have been bailed out big time. All of us would have chipped him some cash. But all right, yeah, got it. I know everyone's like going, no way. I'm gonna say, just when you think, just when you think you've heard it all, you've not heard it all. Yep, amen to that. Amen to that. Just when you think you heard it all. So, okay, so. What was that? Fort Cav got so weird about photo, video, and base that banned hunters using trail cams in the wood. Damn. It's dirt. Somebody said that the reason why they really cracked down on that is partly because it is OPSEC, but also because it was individuals just didn't want to get busted for or get caught in the act doing shit. Yeah, exactly. Easy to hide the bodies that way. Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to pull up another. I'm going to pull up a story here. And do you guys remember back in the day? Well, I shouldn't say back in the day. Just a couple weeks ago, we posted a story about a soldier who had passed away, and there was going to be a call for attendance. And his father was not allowed to come to the country due to his status, and he lived in Mexico. That story, okay, it was identified and brought up to the press, and yep, it's an unfortunate case. What was really, again, if you wouldn't believe this if you were to tell the story again, you wouldn't believe this, but we got receipts on this one. The unit, yes, the one that had the father that passed away. Yeah, that one. The soldier passed away. He was a medic, and he was not allowed to visit because of some issue, humanitarian visa or whatever. And the story went on for a little bit. Where he was, like I said, we did a call attendance. Matter of fact, let me pull the article up here so that you guys can see. You guys can see what I'm talking about. Pretty sad story. Everybody's teammates, everybody was in mourning. I understandably would be upset too. And from what people don't know is when we do CFAs, we call for attendances, and that's usually for somebody who has minimal family, extenuating circumstance, and has a or unaccompanied veteran, and that's generally what we do for calls for attendances, and that's for individuals who could come, they can pay the respect, so that way the veteran or the veteran and the veteran's family cannot be buried or gone off or sent off alone. Really hard to kind of how do I say this? It's really hard to convey the message of somebody's pain. You can't translate it. You can't say, "Hey, I know what that person's going through." We were providing that assistance to the family, so that way we can get the word out, so that individual can attend his son's burial, which was in. Let me pull this back up again. Yeah, and that's the thing too. We suggested the same thing that the father. We asked anybody. We even posted it when we posted the story about it. We asked can someone escort him? Can someone give him the I don't know. Everyone was asking, "Hey, I can escort him. I'll do it." Well, let me do it. Let me escort him. Let me pull this up right quick. See, that's the thing. Can we take him under escort security? Yeah, that's what the that was what we were addressing this to the Customs and Immigration. That's what we were trying to ask. Hey, what can we have done? all this. And this is the this was the call for attendance that was in Kansas City for Staff Sergeant Daniel Antonio Gonzalez, 26, passed away on 17/20/25. There was a story that was written about it. We even had it laid out. All the could have had volunteers. Yeah, exactly. Everyone was kind of wondering what was up. Visa denied for family. Now, of course, everyone went into the specifics. Oh, well, because of this, because of that, because of this. We have seen in the past when we've had calls for attendance, we have seen prisoners, individuals that were in like minimum security or that could visit their sons or daughters that were being buried. I don't have to dig it up and find it, but it was not uncommon to see them not. Like I said, it was not uncommon to see them go and pay the respects, and then they were in restraints, and then for the respect of the funeral, they were under guard, and they got to see that, and then that was it, kind of like conspicuously, so that way it didn't look like he was in somebody was in shackles, and all that. So we were thinking, okay, well, there you go, we could do the same thing for this case. Well, as this was brewing up, due to the fact that it was the immigration stuff right now is a hot button issue, because we're going to talk about riots in a minute. The immigration issue is a hot button issue. So much to the point to where individuals carry it a little overzealous to think that it's political, that if somebody were to attend or not to attend the funeral. I'm going to say this right now that I'm rarely, we do this once in a while for you guys that don't know. Once in a while, we post a unit and we blast them out to let them know, hey, this is the organization that did this, and these are the names that did that or decided to make these threats. And so today, I'm talking about the Medical Readiness Brigade at the National Capital Region. Now, there was a company commander and a first sergeant, and there was another organization that had something to do with the Physician's Assistance Program. I didn't know that was all there. That threatened his former teammates, his former NCOICs, and former leaders, that if you go to this funeral for this NCO, we will pull your clearance. Not only will we pull your clearance, but we will remove you from whatever, I think it was some medical program that individuals that were going through. Now, this was verified through 5 different sources with screenshots of text messages going back and forth. Did this really fucking happen? Are you for real? Now, we got the final count after the funeral, and it was up to 10 soldiers that were not allowed to attend this funeral. Not only were they not allowed to attend the funeral, but word was spread to tell other soldiers, you better tell other soldiers, blah, blah, blah. This was on the Capitol, the Medical Readiness Brigade, the National Capital Region. This was at Fort Leavenworth. This was at Fort Riley. And somebody said it was an organization that they couldn't verify that was an EOD organization on the East Coast, probably somewhere in Virginia or something like that. Now, we were going to do a post, and I figured, I'm going to hold off on the post and just talk about it right now while we were talking about Viva La Vargas. If the Viva La Vargas thing had not happened, this would have been the main story right now. But I decided to just do both, and we decided to do not a post, but to discuss it. Now, what was really shitty about it is that there's different companies, and as a matter of fact, some of the companies that some of the how do I say it? I think, as a matter of fact, let me look. I don't want to lead you guys on, but there was also a this organization makes its rounds usually on the War on Cover Sheets saga. You guys know that every time we post cover sheets from an already pre-existing program called IPSE to attach whatever. Yeah, you're right. No, you're good. It's the same. It's this is Charlie Company at Walter Reed. This is one of the cover sheets. So just to go back and forth again, normally a Sergeant's Time topic, but just what you see here it's common for this organization to be like this. And what we were hearing is the morale. There's individuals that just want to go there, do their time, and get the hell out of there. And there's some individuals that like it because they're in a clique or whatever, and they like to stay. So, First Sergeant Thomas, Captain Demko, everything that's been coming from your texts on the threat of clearances or suspension of programs, that's where it's coming from. Fucking, it's frustrating, man. It literally, we were literally, dude, what? Yeah, do their time and run. It sounds like recruiting duty. Yeah, exactly. Now, we don't know what the circumstances of what the NCO thought. Who was posthumously Staff Sergeant Gonzalez. He was posthumously promoted to Staff Sergeant. But he, we don't even know what he thought of the organization. And if you guys, I don't know, you remember seeing the story of the 3 service members that were in a Facebook post that we shared. And I can't believe it. I can't believe that you would threaten. I can't believe you would threaten soldiers to attend a funeral of their teammate. Now, we're getting information to see if anybody from Walter Reed decided to show up, or if anybody from Walter Reed attended said funeral. All because between the two leaders of the command team decided to say this was a political issue. So those are the two stories that we're tracking right now, the 2 dumpster fire stories, Fort Myer and the Medical Readiness Brigade National Capital Region. And again, we have the receipts. Individuals who have said it, who have been told face to face through let me look right here. Update head count. So yeah, so up to 10 soldiers were not allowed. And I did tell them that we were going to be talking about it today on the Monday edition, and they're going to share it. Hopefully they get the right people. Again, sometimes I think that the soldiers look at their leadership and think that's the way the Army is. I had a good conversation night before last, something. Last night, maybe it was last night, or the night before last. I can't remember. At any rate, talking about how the Army is. Talking about, is this really how the Army works? And I'm like, nope, that's not how the Army works. Not going to get into specifics of that situation because that's another developing story. And once we get all the details from that, that'll be another story that will probably be posted live, just like this. So it's not the rest of the Army. It's not the administration. It's not, because every time we post something immediately, and this is, you guys can, I don't know, when after the inauguration, everything was Trump's fault or everything was Hegseth's fault, when it wasn't necessarily the case. We have seen this. We have seen this time and time again in the almost 20 years, well, I should say 15 years, U.S. Army WTF Moments has been around, 10 years for WTF Nation Radio. We have seen the same shit. Didn't matter who was in charge. Oh, damn, Henry, that is a good quote. There is no place for politics in the graveyard. Damn. That is a good quote. Yeah. Well, we're gonna talk about it. We're also talking about making memes out of it. I just wanted to make sure that this was out. It was, and there's a tradition normally in some families. What they like to do is they give a final gift to put in the casket. I did that with my brother when he passed. And he was able to at least give his last gift to him at his memorial through his youngest son. So, yeah. That really burns my ass. That really does. Burns my ass so fucking bad that a leader would say that. And I just, for right now, it's just names. And I hope, just like the individuals that are paying attention to this Viva La Vargas story, are watching this and thinking the same thing as well. So, yeah, I know PIQ. I hear you, man. I hear you. So the individuals that were not, they're not going to be named because of who said what or whatever. But like I said, individuals that are in specific medical programs, which I didn't know Walter Reed, this organization had a lot of involvement in it. So can you post a pic? Yeah, sure thing. Yeah. In fact, it was this Facebook post right here that first started it off. So that was it. So our hearts go out to the Gonzalez family. Yeah, they're not really exactly that, man. They're not really a leader. They're just in a position. All right, so with that, there's one more. Let me see. I gotta make sure. I gotta check my notes. Did I say that right? I'm good. Okay, hang on. I gotta pull up another note here. There you go. Okay, so if you guys not paid attention to, it's gonna get a little back and forth. Pick how you want to say is political. A post by Fancy Bear that was posted up that kind of brought a little bit of attention to the just the current status of the military right now on, dude, going back. Hey, we're gonna talk about it in a minute. Insomniac. I just wanted to cover some of the stuff right here. Just to cover some of the stuff of hey, look, just because you don't like somebody in the position does not mean you have to think automatically it's whatever. Hey, I've been led by individuals that I could not fucking stand. Everyone likes to do that. Swear an oath to the Constitution until it's somebody you don't like. Then all of a sudden it's resist. Or going back and forth on Twitter with somebody right now trying to compare this to Andor with the riots going on, by the way. Insomniac, since you mentioned it. I hope they... Now, I'll save that comment for later. I'll save that commentary for later because I want to stick to the task at hand, to the topic at hand. So, I don't know if you guys saw posted on Fancy Bears. It's not ICE relatives. What are you talking about? What do you mean it's not my relatives? Matter of fact, I've been turning into relatives left and right. I'm just kidding because I do have family members that listen. But you better watch out. I'm just kidding. You're on blast. Posted on Fancy Bear. It's funny. Let's go down the list here. 12:15. Everybody must be seated in the bleachers. Note: soldiers sitting in the bleachers are to be fit, not fat, not look fat. Ooh. The soldiers in the bleachers will not be allowed to have water, so they must ensure they hydrate properly prior. No colored patches. And then the last comment: if any soldiers have political views that are in opposition to the current administration, I can't even believe they fucking put this in type, and they don't want to be in the audience, that they need to speak to their leadership and get swapped out. Basically, they don't want soldiers in the audience rolling their eyes or shaking their head in disagreement. Cries and Master Chief Petty Officer. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about, right? What's going on? It's kind of funny. The reason why I love broadcasting on 5 different platforms, because everybody right now likes to go into this, likes to go into this, likes to go to X. And I don't know, can I say that? I mean, living in the South, bless their hearts. Bless their hearts at the DOD only using one platform to project a lot of... That's why you noticed somebody asked us, hey, how come you posted that Twitter post from Northcom? Well, that's because they didn't post anything on any of the other platforms. Now, contrary to popular belief, nobody wants to use X. They still got Boomer Book, right? They still have Instagram or YouTube. So let me the water thing is getting rectified. It's getting fixed. Relax. The water stuff is going to be fixed. There's going to be Gary, if you want soldiers in your ranks, but if they look fat, don't put them in the bleachers. Yeah, exactly. So let's go to the bottom line real quick. If soldiers have political views that are in opposition to the current administration, put them kids in the fucking ranks. Because if you can't maintain your bearing when the president of the United States, the commanding general, your brigade commander, or even battalion commander is talking, then that's a you problem. We have a choice. Soldiers have a choice now. You mean I could have decided that I didn't want W, Clinton, Bush, although the first Bush, Clinton, W, Obama, Trump, Biden. You mean I had a choice? I had a choice? No. Once you do that, once you give them a choice, the precedent has been set. I don't agree with this. If you don't agree with that, they should do All-American Week for 3 weeks in a row for this bullshit. Just for that. Just for even thinking about posting that. They don't want, and if they do roll their eyes, hem them the fuck up. Hem them up. Counsel them. Bust them. Article 15 them. It starts now. It starts now. When you start accommodating that shit, that's welcome to the inbox. That's how your shit gets posted. They are thinning out the soldiers by closing all the defects. Yeah, exactly. No pun intended. Are we talking about thinning out the soldiers by them saying, get out of here? They don't want you in there. Now, the water situation, from what I'm being told, is being addressed, and I think it's going to be fixed. Corey, what's up, my fellow infidels? Soldiers sitting in the bleachers are to be fit and not look fat. Come on. Come on. We're now starting to treat obese individuals or individuals who are hefty as a protected class. You could be a protected class if you're a civilian. You could be a protected class when you're not you're not serving anymore. But when you are in the United States military, there is an expectation of you to be physically fit. To me, the whole soldier concept, this is speaking from the Army's point of view, means you are physically fit. Tactically and technically proficient. All the mother buzzwords. That's what makes you lethal. Fed. Paid well. Yeah, exactly. Great point, Insomniac. I wonder how many soldiers are going to sham out because of political views. Yeah, exactly that. They're going to be like, yeah, I don't agree. So that way they don't have to stand in formation. There is the Joe factor. There is Joe. Joe does do that. But what if you're big bone? I'm going to tell you what. As a person who is a hefty enthusiast, I had no problem with my ACFT, APFTs. No big deal. I only knew that because of the body weight stuff, body fat, whatever. Just the way the Army is. I gotta get tape. No biggie. I didn't appear to be so I don't think any of my family members either when we served all together before we all retired. We all like, we're pretty fit. I still have family members that are serving, and I look at them and at one time that they were probably out of shape, and now they're, like I said, fit to fight. They look good, right? That is the appearance of it. It is expected. You don't expect to be, big and fat and then complain when you post something on social media of said fatness, and then everybody gets mad saying, why is that individual fat? Again, you could be a protected class of fatness all you want as a civilian, but when you're serving, there is an expectation that you are to be in shape. I disagree with here. I met some big-looking dudes who look like, man versus food fatties. And what was that last one? And it's a mixed barrel in my view. Yeah. No, get me wrong. Oh, no. I'm not saying. See, that's the thing. I have seen some thickness. Thick. They're not ripple. They're not bony. They're not whatever. There's thick. I have a good friend of mine who was accused of being fat and out of shape. And this dude could run like the wind. This guy ran. And everyone says they've never seen fat moves much. So he wasn't fat. He was just a big dude. He met the standards, but he could outrun everybody. The SMA, or the SMA, I should say, the sergeant major of the organization, the command sergeant major, CSM, said the same thing. And it's not in the round shape either. Yeah, I'm saying you could be stocky, you could be whatever, as long as you maintain. Because if you look at the guys that have been exercising with the SecDef, there's some thickens in there too. They're not fat. There, matter of fact, let me show you some fat. Oh, hey. Viva La Vargas is inside the chat. What's up, man? You're not in cuffs, are you? Sorry, we were just talking about you. Oh, man. Sorry, bro. Didn't want to just breaking balls. Don't be extra thick. They do the same thing for all TV shows and award show. Cameras have a designated filming area, and they have one filter for... Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yep. No, as a matter of fact, let me are you talking about Private Doyle? Huh? Doyle? Who the fuck is Doyle? So it's circulating again. This is why you guys, it's funny to see everybody on different social media platforms. Now, the Naval Nuclear Power Training Command had some new Master Chiefs and Senior Chiefs. Sergeant Porkneck laughs. Yeah. If your boots explode, you might have problem. Yeah. Again. Yeah, exactly that, Holly. Oh my God. I know for sure, Holly. And I will say this, even to some of the fans, I'm a fan. I fangirl over some country music, CMA stars. Me and Holly talk about it once in a while. But anyways, let me go back right here. Meal Team 6, everyone's dropping comment. Meal Team 6, yeah. That actually pays well to be a fighter. So look at this right here. Look at this image, and these images here of the individuals that are representative of the newly promoted chiefs. Now look at this. Now we've always seen memes, right? If you guys looking at memes and stuff, and seeing all fat soldiers and fat Marines and stuff like that, we've always seen them, always see them hang out. Hang on. Matter of fact, let me see. Fat soldier meme. All you gotta do is look it up. Googleize it. That is some bow. The famous, every time somebody talks about fat soldiers, is this individual that always comes up in memes. Remember this? Look about that one, right? Remember that one? I think that's a British one right there. Yeah. Okay. Oh, that's the. There we go. What about that one? I don't get how saying, "Dude, you are fat. You need to lose some weight," is so offensive to individuals. Are there fat Marines? Oh, yeah. As a matter of fact, I remember seeing a fat Marine one time. Larry the Cable Guy is there than that. Are there fat Marines? Hang on. Let me see. Yeah. There are some fat Marines. There you go. Did I get an invitation to the parade? I haven't checked my email, Holly. I haven't checked it. But I guarantee it, due to the fact of who we are at US Army WTF Moments and WTF Nation Radio, we probably won't get one. So again, Is it or is it not a protected class when you say, again, there might be some extenuating circumstances on why you're hefty as a civilian. You might be diabetic. You might have a thyroid issue. The Army overweight program, the Army body fat composition program is so ate up as it is. And the reason why I say that is because every time I see this, we need to refer you to a nutritionist. I have yet to see a soldier get referred to, or yet have seen a nutritionist given to soldiers. So again, once you're in, there's a different standard. If you're a civilian, you can be fat all you want. Talk about one thing about being retired, I guess. You can just sit there and wake up late and good to go. So, only fat Marines are retired. Hey, I'm gonna say we saw that. I mean, I got a fat Marine. Hang on, other fat Marine here. Another fat Marine on here. There you go. There's another one. And this is why they have to close the DFAC early. Again, you can't be fat in uniform. I don't understand why this is an issue. I don't understand why everybody gets mad. Again, if there is a genuine issue, like for instance, somebody was injured and they are taking medicines and they cannot be healed and they have to get med-boarded and they plump up because of the medication. Totally understandable. They're getting processed out, whatever. We have been cataloging the fats. Soldiers, we've been cataloging soldiers that have been that everyone sends into us, and because a lot of the stuff, just like hots and cots, at one time we will be called upon to deliver images and a verification proof of fats and cots. No, not fats and cots. Are there diet crayons? Again, it's all fun and games. It's really funny. Everyone loves to drag the dudes on the fatness, but you put a woman up there and everyone immediately, that's when it gets onto the sensitivity, or you shouldn't be doing that. You shouldn't say this is bad. You shouldn't say this. You shouldn't say that. Hey, look, fat is fat. Oh, you only got, okay, well, here's another one then. Somebody just said, you only posted one free month. There you go. Use I ran in a sentence. I ran to McDonald's, I ran to Popeyes, and I ran to KFC. There's a fat Marine. There you go. So you can't, to go back on the fancy bear post, what's wrong with not having soldiers that do not look like they are? Because to me, it's a reflection of the command. Damn. Do you not PT your troops? Do you not give these soldiers the opportunity to PT? Because that plays into it as well. All that H2F stuff, holistic health and stuff. Okay. Why do you think some organizations didn't have any issue with the ACFT when it came out, when it was the leg tuck and all that? Because some units have a very pretty good high PT op tempo. Not an issue. Not an issue at all. Exactly that cause, a unit nutritionist and a wellness advisor, not an appointed position. That you bring up a good question. You bring up a good point. Is that a lot of these master fitness trainers, see, look, when I think about, the Army's like, a bunch of athletes, then I want to see some collegiate ass athletes, trainers. So I'm just saying. Anyways, I'm going to go ahead and take a break, get our guests online. And I wonder, I was about to say, I wonder if the conversation of what we're doing today is going to be the same as, well, we'll ask Dominick. So when Dominick shows up, he'll be able to talk to us about if anything else is going to be changing within this unstable climate. So everyone take a break, smoke them if you got them, and shots. So stand by.
WTF Nation Radio. WTF Nation Radio.
Take it from me, Ice. You can't just float around space not caring about stuff forever.
The voice of U.S. Army. WTF Moments. This is WTF Nation Radio.
Shit in the bag, Pogue.
things you'll find. Drill sergeants rage, a fiery storm. Private tensions far from the norm in the shadows where the secrets lie. Army WTF you can't deny. Army top of the stories unfold. In the heart of the chaos the truth is told. From the field to the base the legends grow. Army top of the fuss, the madness we know. A Humvee stuck in the mud so deep. A midnight rain, no time for sleep. Emerge straight like gold in hand. The strangest sights in this foreign land. Drill sergeants rage, a fiery storm. Private antics far from the norm in the shadows where the secrets lie. Army WTF you can't deny. Army top of the stories unfold. In the heart of the chaos the truth is told. From the field to the base the legends grow. Army top of the fuss, the madness we know. The mud so deep, a midnight rain, no time for sleep. Emerge straight like gold in hand. The strangest sights in this foreign land. Drill sergeants rage, a fiery storm. Private antics far from the norm in the shadows where the secrets lie. Army WTF you can't deny. Army top of the stories unfold. In the heart of the chaos the truth is told. From the field to the base the legends grow. Army top of the fuss, the madness we know. In the ranks where the wild things roam. Every soldier's got a tale of their own. From the absurd to the downright strange. Army top of the fuss, it never will change. She'll raise a glass to the tales untold. In the Army's world where the brave and bold live the moments that make us say Army top of the fuss every single day.
I am here determined to stop this future atrocity.
This station is now the ultimate power in the universe. I suggest we use it.
The voice of U.S. Army, WTF Moments. This is WTF Nation Radio.
I find your lack of faith disturbing.
Everything stated on WTF Nation Radio is to be considered the opinion of the person that stated it, and not an official representation of WTF Nation Radio or U.S. Army WTF Moments.
Price does not include tax, title, or license. Some assembly required. Each item sold separately. Batteries not included. Objects in mirror are closer than they appear. If conditions persist, contact a physician. Individual results may vary. Keep out of the reach of children. Avoid prolonged exposure to direct sunlight. Keep in a cool, dark place. And
please enjoy the show. Shots.
Dominick Miserandino. Did I say
Miserandino.
Miserandino.
Miserandino, you got it now.
Okay, there you go. Mr. Oh man, Miserandino.
Had it. Miserandino.
Welcome to U.S.
You'll
Army.
Get it by the end of the hour.
Exactly. Welcome to U.S. Army WTF Moments and WTF Nation Radio. Dominic, how are you doing?
I'm with you. That's how I'm doing. You know, some people seeing a show and having a good time on a Monday night. I'm with you, alone in the basement.
That's right, alone in the basement of the Pentagon. So how you been?
Doing well. It's been a busy year for me. A lot of people asking me, I think WTF. That's mostly the question I get.
Well, I mean, you've come to the right place when it comes to WTF. That literally is in our title.
I feel like I've come home at that point. You know?
Exactly. So tell us about yourself.
I've been in the media world for about 30 years, started a few online publications. Concurrent to that, I've been advising e-commerce and retail companies, probably helped well over 200 plus in my career. Right now I'm running Retail Tech Media Nexus, which is the intersection of retail, tech, and let me do the triangle better. Sorry. Retail, tech, and media. There's the triangle.
The triad.
Exactly. Where we're connecting one world to the other, basically, and helping smooth the gaps and drama of retail, tech, and media.
Now retail tech and media has, I mean, your experience, obviously social media has assisted in that, right?
Oh, that's why I list social media within media.
Yeah.
Media is communication. And it used to only be the kid on the corner screaming extra, read all about it. I mean, look where you are now. I mean, it's streaming, and that's a standard. And I'm sure there's some people who are now listening to this show who maybe listened at some point and now experiencing the stream, and that's the standard. So it's all the evolution of media in general.
Well, I think everyone likes to say emerging media or new media. And I'm always like, media is media, like you just said. We went from the paper boy screaming extra to now we're here.
And I use that reference because that's the common thread. We all just want to know what is going on.
Right.
And we all want to connect as humans.
Right.
And maybe it was the kid on the corner. Maybe it's streaming right now, and it could be anything in between of forming that human connection.
Your expertise is a lot on tariffs.
Lately, I seem to have gotten 1 or 2 phone calls on tariffs.
I would say at least 8 to 9 publications just off the top of my head.
This month,
Yeah,
I've been on TV
Yep.
twice a week since somebody got elected and made a big deal about tariffs
Right,
that people
right.
want to know.
You know, that brings up a good question. This is why we brought you on.
Thank you, sir.
We wanted you to come on and discuss to the general veteran audience.
Yeah, I'm ready.
What is a tariff?
Oh, so at least we're going to choose, subjects that are not inflammatory and very lighthearted subjects. That's good.
Well, I would say
Harry-
in the content, I will say this. This being an opinion, discussion show, anyways. What is a tariff in the context of the last 6 months from what you've seen?
A tariff, factually speaking, is a fee, a good, a tax paid by the person receiving in the goods. So if I live in America and I say I really want to import more AirPods, from wherever, every time I receive that AirPod, I'm going to pay that tariff to the U.S. government. In turn, I then get to decide as the importer what I'm going to do about that tariff. So maybe I have this $100 AirPod. I buy it for $80 from China. The tariff is $20. I'm going to sell it for $100. I have to do something with that. I might absorb the cost. I might pass the cost on to the consumer. But it is a tax paid by the importer to that respective government, whoever's causing the tariff. It's not paid there; it's paid here.
And that's where the customer, the consumer, ends up eating that extra cost.
Yes, to be as objective as humanly possible, it is not a mandate. But that said, in the entire retail industry, the margins are so tight, meaning you are not taking a $10 t-shirt and making them for $1. Generally speaking, it's going to be very margin, the difference between what you're selling it at and the production cost is usually so tight. Even if I, the importer, said, I really want to pay this tariff myself and make less money, there's just such a little difference in there. It's not only impossible, at times the tariffs have currently surpassed that difference. So you couldn't absorb it. It just would be impossible to do so.
Right. Now, do you see a lot of that? I mean, well, no, I would say this is, again, there's individuals that don't know. Has it affected the banks? Has it affected the stock market? Has it affected just the basic economy of our country right now?
Short answer is yes. The long answer is the stock market, for example, the basic economy, is a market of prediction. Anyone watching doesn't understand or not, and that's kind of where I would say my expertise more so is breaking it down.
Right.
It's almost like the same prediction on betting on a sports game. Who's going to win the Super Bowl this year? A or B. Mm-hmm. Stock market's just like that. Now, once you introduce a tariff, where'd my margin go? That disappeared forever. Right. In addition, when the tariff changes, the problem is that generally for most goods, even though it appears to the American consumer, they appear on your doorstep by Magic Fairies or by Amazon. It takes weeks to get these things moving. Mm-hmm. So you have to almost predict as a business in America, what is that tariff going to be? What is it? What will it be? So it has affected everything because everybody's trying to predict. And magically, we can't predict and we don't understand. And that's the challenge.
I was about to say, do you think our economy is that flexible to absorb any of that?
I don't know if the word flexible I'll go for, in that I think it's a complexity.
Gotcha.
And the point I'm thinking is the magic iPhone here. Mm-hmm. I mean, number of pieces. So for everyone watching, I mean, you're asking to break it down, this information. You can probably figure out the cost of your local goods. How much does it cost to buy an apple? How much does it cost to buy wood? If you're producing any product of complexity, and I hate saying every product is complex, you're taking all here. Plastic happy car. And they produce with my little logo.
I was about to say, nice little truck there.
Exactly. The plastic itself generally is coming from somewhere. The rubber is coming somewhere, but this one has a little one of those batteries. You can
a little friction motor. Yes.
Bingo. And each of those pieces is coming from somewhere. And generally, you could have products with dozens of countries. So I think the complexity is also the challenge. You're a manufacturer, you're sitting in the middle of I don't know, East Texas, and you have to look there and go, where are we getting our rubber? Where are we getting this? Where are we getting that? Where does this guy get this guy, get this guy, get this guy? And that's a function of this wonderful economy we have, in that it is a world economy. We are intertwined. It is not like, 100 years ago, you collect your products and you produce your products and you make them all in the same town. It is the whole world intertwined.
Now, is the, back in the day when I was growing up, the Made in America logo, make sure you've been made in America. I was talking with some friends that do, like you said, like make a T-shirt or make something like that. And to see the world economy so intertwined, I've not seen, at least I've heard, but I've not seen anybody, like any textile mills opening up in North Carolina again to do, Made in America.
Exactly. And when you're talking about even T-shirts, you have the textiles, you have the little, the tag, the paper tag. You have that plastic thing, I don't know the name of, and I don't think anybody in the world does, that connects the tag, and it gets stuck in your shirt, and you have to use the scissors, and you're caught in your shirt, that piece of plastic.
Yeah.
But each of those pieces, in fact, you're going to, I assume, ship that shirt, put it in a plastic bag maybe. Maybe you'll put it in one of those Amazon envelopes. And that also speaks to the complexity. It's not a singular system. I am making a cotton shirt with cotton thread that I got in North Carolina, that I picked the cotton. And I think also when you're talking intertwined system, the cotton gin we made here in America, but what is the machine you're using?
Mm-hmm.
What is the parts you're using?
Right.
We are in a world, I just saw a video and I thought it was so cool. This guy ordered this mini tractor. It was probably half the size of a Bug, a VW Bug. And he ordered from overseas, like $4,000. But you have to think the supply chain is that whole delivery, that manufacturing process. Each of those can come from somewhere. I'm looking in this office. I don't think anything here was made in America.
Mm-hmm.
And even if I could get very singular, let's pretend that this remote I'm holding is made in America, even though it is definitely not. But let's pretend it was, and all the material with it, the machine that crushes it, the machine that molds it, the machine that pushes it in, all these things are pieces of that puzzle. That's the issue with tariffs. We are not isolating. I think the only thing you could maybe get away with saying is isolate maple syrup from Vermont or Amish country wood, when it's very, very singular.
Well, like you were saying about the phones, a lot of it, and let's go to clothes. A lot of uniform novelty items that I used to wear that had our unit emblems on it was an American company, but it was assembled in Honduras, or was assembled in El Salvador, or and then Your iPhone, China, everyone throws the made in America stuff while they're testing it through their iPhone.
Well, and that's the made in America refers to the putting it all together.
Right.
I just looked it up while we're talking. The iPhone is sourced from 40 countries.
Yeah, I was about to say, yep.
Assembled in China. Now, let us consider that. I'm trying to find a good one. The camera part, it says, is Sony. The battery is South Korea. Components can come from Vietnam. Once you affect any of those supply chains, we might not be importing the batteries from Vietnam, but those batteries have to go somewhere and then go to China, and then someone makes it in that country. Which is the complexity. If you're having an iPhone, is such a wonderful example. 40 pieces,
yeah,
assembled somewhere, and maybe the tariff, which we thought would singularly affect Mexico or Brazil or France or this, it goes into this whole hyper complex system, because all of our goods now are so diverse. We are no longer playing with the wooden train set.
Right. Right.
It doesn't exist.
Right.
We are a series of materials of complexity.
Well, what is it? Is it because the industry that used to be the Made in America theme are just not there anymore? We're just not.
And that's the other piece of it. And one of the questions, I think, especially for listeners here, I think, is, do we want it to be? Meaning, some of that is hard labor. Some of that, do you really want, you want your kids growing up in a better life than your parents, your grandparents had.
Yep.
I don't know if I'd want my kids mining cobalt, but there is also other aspects. Like, I was reading an article about this sunglass manufacturer, and it turns out she couldn't find artisans in America. They were in Italy, the best manufacturers of sunglasses. But it is a question. Some people I've discussed theorize, is it necessarily good? Now, certain circumstances, it is not only good, it's a necessity. You want to make sure your country has enough food. You want to make sure you can produce things. Other things, there's just a reality, like coffee. We can only produce coffee maybe in Puerto Rico and Hawaii.
Oh, wow.
You're not growing coffee trees in New York State.
No.
It's not happening. Bananas. You can produce bananas, not here. Now, yes, they're working on certain things such as greenhouses and such, but that's where the question becomes at times, does one want to? If it's a matter of national security, it's the country's best interest to make sure we can have water and supply and feed people. On the other side, I don't know if you necessarily need the headache of trying to figure out how to grow a coffee tree in the middle of New Jersey. I'm sure it's possible somehow technologically, but
right. Well, and a lot of it gets into some regulatory practices from each state where you want to grow something. Of California, you can't grow anything specifically unless you go through the EPA, or unless you go through whatever the state regulatory factors are. For instance, the water in San Joaquin Valley, there's issues with farmers trying to grow things.
Yes.
But there's laws that prevent, because of a smelt, that prevent that growth, that prevent
100%. And I think when you're asking the questions on tariffs, it is a system. And I usually say it's like a big machine. In fact, if you ask to break it down to layman, it's almost like one of those big, what are those old tractors? My uncle's a farmer, and he used to have the big
John Deere's, old John Deere's.
Yeah, John Deere tractors. If I see it, I just see a John Deere tractor. I don't see any of the parts. My uncle could see it all.
Right.
Veteran Vietnam War, Uncle Jerry, and he could see each piece moving. This is 10,000 times more complex than that. And the challenge in the tariffs is when you're saying, we're going to raise tariffs over here, over here, depending on this, where in that system are your gears slowing down? Does it affect other pieces? Now, that's not to say tariffs in and themselves are evil. Historically, they've never often worked, but there are case usage. The challenge is you have to use it just as much as you would say fixing that John Deere tractor, saying, I need to know exactly where I'm putting that wrench before I set it all right.
Well, you brought up a good point about the other pieces having that friction. Back when China hit back with the 10% tariff, and as soon as the tariffs kicked in, so other tariffs got put on hold, and you're like wondering, all right, so what stalled? I mean, what stopped when China did that? Aside from the fact that TikToks were hilarious from that.
Oh my God, the TikToks. Well, and that also, by the way, is another. We're kind of having a really, which I'm enjoying so much, like this practical conversation. What this all is. Another part of this is that instant communication of TikTok, social media, you and I speaking from 400,000 miles away, wherever you and I are speaking. It's instant, it's video, it's working. Never in time in human history. I mean, think about like how often, which I always found fascinating, those stories, especially veterans, where they go into the Pacific and they find the guy in the island during World War II. He's like, the war ended.
Yeah. Yeah.
We missed you.
Yeah.
And now tariffs hit, and a guy in China goes, "Let me tell the whole world how I'm making these famous luxury bags."
Yes, exactly.
Information has turned instant. It's turned quick. And there's another level, like you could translate. I mean, I'll do things instant where I'll have meetings in other languages, and I'll just turn on Google Translate. God bless us. So I think that also became the factor because you're implementing a change. And normally there's time for the ball to bounce back.
Right.
Not anymore. And now we instantly move to that immediate reaction. And people saying, wait, I didn't expect you to expose every factory in China saying
I think that was a second and third order effect that nobody expected. I didn't expect. As soon as I started seeing the videos on Twitter, I'm like, whoa! That literally, hey, you didn't. This Gucci bag is not a Gucci bag. It's because of this, and like you just broke it down. It took different components from here, and here to make your Gucci bag for it to be sold in, near the Champs-Élysées,
Yeah, and I think, to speak to it, that is where the challenge on the tariffs become. If I walk up to that John Deere tractor and say, stuck my wrench in, but I had no idea, smacking it here would have this effect. Everybody who knows how that thing works will say, dude, you can't do that. Or now, but it's become a very difficult conversation because there is so much noise. The challenge is the tariffs are, I would almost say, like, is one end of this. Let me put my hand right here. Tariffs over here, and then you have supply chain. Where is it coming from? Then you have distribution, in the sense, how do you physically get that thing to get to your house by Amazon overnight? And then you have that information component. All those pieces. And it's not necessarily a system. You have to know how you're hitting it. If you're going to hit that John Deere motor, you better know exactly where you're smacking it with the wrench, or you might cause more headaches or not. And I think that's become the challenge for businesses. Everyone I'm speaking to goes, I don't know what's happening, so let's just stop for the moment.
You bring up a good point. Those big businesses and retailers, I mean, has there been a significant amount of those businesses going out of business? Have they closed down? Have they?
Yes, and yes.
Oh, wow.
There are ones closing down. There are ones affected. I know many mom and pops who could not absorb it. And if you think, even at the basics, if you're, I was reading an article. It was on the news. This guy was bringing in food products to feed the poor. and the tariffs were greater than anything they could afford. Stop the food chain right then and there. He's like, I can't do it. Because if you have that 100% tariff, so that means essentially if you're buying, selling a $1 AirPod, and I like demonstrating. If you buy that $1 AirPod, and it costs you 50 cents to buy it, but the tariff's 100%. Well, moves from 50 to $1.
Yep.
You're selling it $1, you ain't making nothing. 150%. Now you're going to about $1.25.
And you're not going to absorb a cost. You're going to raise the price. You're going to raise.
And then the problem where it also becomes additionally is, let's pretend you and I go on Amazon, buy it wherever we go. We go buy it saying, get me this product. And from the point I bought it to the present, the tariff changed. Well, I'm going to call you, say, dude, I ordered the shirt for $1. You can't change the price now.
Right.
And that also was a level of complexity. It's, historically, the other two things I think that you have in this situation is, then you also have non-tariffs affected. And what I mean by that is Kentucky bourbon is notorious. We hit the Kentucky bourbon, and there were two effects to me that came out of that were not directly the tariffs, meaning the tariff affected the bourbon, which is the liquid.
Right.
But then you have a guy who's sitting in Kentucky who's making glass bottles. He's going, I got this great. I've taken the sand, wherever I go, the river, and I'm making my bottles.
Right.
Kentucky bourbon sells less. He's making less bottles. But the other effect is, what did Canada do? They immediately ripped the Kentucky bourbon off the shelves. Do you think it's going back on the shelves the next week?
Right.
In fact, I can tell you when it will go back on the shelves. The answer to when it will go back on the shelves is the same answer to when the average American will start their day with tea.
Oh, yeah.
If you remember, there was a tariff on tea. Boston Harbor.
Yeah.
We immediately went, coffee.
That's a good point. We like to throw that Freedom Patriot stuff, Boston Tea Party, but we're not doing the same thing for the bourbon.
Agreed. And what happens with society is we switch. There is no logic in terms of coffee versus tea. They both will wake you up. Maybe one is cheaper. Maybe tea's better on your stomach.
Right.
But once society said, wait, I don't like that, we shift. Kentucky bourbon, is it one generation? Is it two? Is it three? And the biggest market for Kentucky bourbon was Canada. First one we hit with that tariff.
Yep.
So, yes, in a way, because of the global complexity, the hope becomes you sell your Kentucky bourbon instead of Canada, you sell it to wherever, France. I don't know. They'll probably drink a lot more wine, so they won't.
They're more Johnny Walker people, anyways, over in Europe.
Yeah, but that becomes the other factor. The tariff example and the Boston Tea Party to me is wonderful because it is a historical context, but it also shows we're coming up to 250 years since the Boston Tea Party, roughly.
Right.
And we have not, and we're talking 10 generations. Figure everyone 20 years, 250 years, roughly speaking. That means like everyone who's listening, their great was like, no, we don't drink tea, we drink coffee. What's wrong with it?
Right. Now, did it kind of backfire on Canada though when you saw those videos of, I wouldn't say backfire, but did you think it was productive at all to just watch them just start smashing bottles because of it? I mean, it was.
Well, first of all, I don't think any smashing of anything ever helps.
Right. Well, I mean,
as a societal thing. But I think what happened with Canada is, which is interesting, is they all got a patriotism.
Right.
You go to a Canadian supermarket now, you will see Maple Leaf label, made in Canada, across the board. In addition, they are trading internationally. And what I mean by that is like if you go have a kid or Temu, I mean, every kid orders from Temu.
Of course.
We had the minimal exemption. So you could, anything under $800, you can get shipped. You could order some stupid product and try to find one stupid product I probably have around. You could order, I ordered cheap sunglasses quickly from Timo, and
Right.
we now can't do that.
Right.
It can. So they're kind of laughing, going, keep fighting. We'll just order from China.
Right.
We're just going to order from here, from there. If we don't want your cheese, no problem. We'll get French cheese. We'll get beer from the UK. We're fine. We'll survive. Because that has been the world we've created.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
You'd have to go to get, like, for instance, anything specialty like that. Like for me, I like German brandy, and I have to go to a specialty store to get the German brandy that I like to drink, Osbach. And so when I drink that, then you can't just walk into it and say, "Hey, you got any Osbach?" And people will be like, "Isn't that a city just south of Würzburg?" And I'm like, "No, dude, it's a German brandy. It's on the Rhine River, from the wineries up there." And
let's speak to that. Why do you drink that?
Oh, because it's good. I mean, it's
sure, but there must have been a first memory.
There was. Stationed in Germany. I served in Germany, and I had somebody mixed a drink, and they said, "You don't want Jack and Coke, you want Osbach and Coke."
And it's short. See, now your brain jumped there. And here's my argument and point. You had a positive memory.
Mm-hmm.
If you went to the store now and you found Germany raised the price on this thing to you, that it costs double, triple. Now your positive memory is affected.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And you're not telling your kid about it. You're just going, dude, we drink Kentucky bourbon. We don't drink that.
Don't drink that stuff. Don't drink that.
No way.
No.
So there is that other component because it became easy. If you think, I'm sure when you first came back over Germany, it must not have been easy to get this stuff.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't until, like I said, I had to have gone to specialty stores, or the exchange system, the PX system, were the ones that would have to special order it for you. To get it.
And now it's a different animal. And I think the other factor is COVID. When we went through COVID, we learned something. I'm removing all the thing about masks and everything. You know what we learned as a society? I don't want to see you. I could drive up to the store and they'll load my trunk.
Mm-hmm.
I want Uber Eats, DoorDash. This is good stuff. And I think how many listeners are going to themselves, yeah, I never really ordered that. Maybe you'd order pizza or Chinese food.
Right.
And now you order anything. So society, there's I gave you those examples, meaning tariff, supply chain, delivery, communication. Then you have that psychological component. You're going to mess with my ability to order this German product and get it to my doorstep in a minute and a half, or that's the expectation.
Right. Exactly.
I think the challenge we're starting to see also with the tariff situation is that at one point in human history, your supply chains, well, first you see the emotional component. We don't drink coffee. We don't drink tea. We drink coffee as society. And now it's so mixed when you're offended, so to speak. Switch. So what's I think happening with Canada is I can't get the Kentucky bourbon. Woe is me.
Right.
I'll just order it from over here now.
Right. That's
then
you bring
that
up,
memory recalibrates.
You bring up a good point, because I drink the 15-year brand of Osbach, and while we were talking, I just Googled it, and it's now $272 a bottle when it was an $80.
So now what's going to happen? You go through your last bottle.
Why you do this, bro? Why you do? Yeah,
but that is exactly what
it's going to happen. It's going to go. I'm going to go through my bottle. I got to go find the specialty. I got to find several different liquor stores or spirit stores that can get it, because the specific model brand that I get, you can't get it from the PX. You can't get it from the exchange. And so
I guess the argument, if you had to, would be your tariff benefit would be you might be more likely now to get a Kentucky bourbon because they can't sell to Canada anymore.
That or I just go and get the 3-year blend, and the 3-year blend is $40, and I don't like the 3-year blend. I like the 15-year blend.
Yes, and then you might not you'll try something else, and it does sometimes cause that. The challenge when I mentioned the communication element is, then you go on TikTok
Yes.
You have a friend in the UK going, I'm enjoying my 15-year blend. Free you.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you're going to say, wait, what? So the readjustment, if you imagine using that lens, what if in, time of the Boston Tea Party, somebody was on video and was like, we're having tea, we're having a great old time, yeah, America.
Yeah.
We would have been flipping in a different direction at that point.
Now,
may affect it or not psychologically.
No, of course. It also has the nostalgic value to me, because now at that point, I can't reminisce and go back in the day like when I was stationed in Germany. When the Deutschmark was good before the euro came out. That's when
aged yourself a lot by saying Deutschmark alone.
Yeah,
right out there.
Exactly. No, because when the Deutschmark came out, there was a good exchange rate, and then the euro came out, and once the euro hit, it was almost literally just 1 for 1, then 125, then 130. So it would cost me $1.30 for €1. And this is, during those shifting markets. And I back when $1 would get me $3.
But there's a memory that kicks in at that point. There's an emotion that kicks in that makes you say, I like that.
Mm-hmm.
That feels good, and the price. And that's the other side of it. Do you remember the whole tipping debacle we've had the past few years? Is it 15 now? Is it 20?
Yeah,
the second society switch occurs, psychologically we go 20%. I'm sure your listeners remember jumping 15 to 20.
Yeah.
Everyone said, what is going on? Yes, there's a readjustment, but it takes a few years to get people readjusted that this is crazy and I don't want to pay 15 now, I want to do 20 or whatever.
Right.
Current tip norm.
Well, and then when living in Europe all that time, you didn't tip. Because the culture, the way it was is that you were talking about the artisans, the artisan of how things are done overseas in Europe, true craftsmanship. In Europe, specifically in Italy, Germany, and France, individuals went to some sort of apprenticeship program to get to those specific trades that we spend money. We spend a lot more money than, like, for instance, if you get it overseas, it's already done overseas. Yeah, it's going to cost you some. Probably cost you maybe €50 more, €100 more. But over here, you're buying a $500 product because there's no one here to make it. There's no one here to.
That's what's amazing, by the way, I love about the listenership we have with the veterans, because everybody who listens who's a veteran has been overseas,
right?
Presumingly, I would say,
right.
Generally speaking, they've served overseas.
Right.
They've seen a perspective of the world that is slightly different. And I think that's the societal change post-COVID with the streaming video world, where we're seeing real-time perspectives. Like the factory showing the best.
You're right, because then it gives that perception. Was it really worth it then? Is it really to cost you that? Is it really worth to pay that much when I could just get Dominick to come on my stream right now?
Yeah.
And literally just click and you're on. And
this was pretty darn easy.
Most industries it cost.
On all these things, that's why it's not a quick answer. Someone asked me once, are tariffs good?
Right.
I was like, that's like saying, are people good or are people bad? You can't.
Right.
But that said, you're having these 5 factors, multiple factors kicking in, causing the average consumer, which is all that really happens when that occurs, and people don't understand. They go, frig this. Wait a minute, and that's what you're going to say. You're going to say, I'll order my alcohol from Germany when things calm down, or whatever. We kind of reset ourselves for that expectation.
What is the and I was reading up watching some of your interviews, and the egg drama, the egg price drama. What was up with that?
See, this is where it drives me nuts, because the drama is the social media component. In the sense, the egg drama is no different to me than the gas drama with the Biden stickers. I did it.
Right.
We put our finger on something. The eggs, you had the avian flu, birds getting cold. Now, mind you, that's where tariffs don't help, because
trade usually reduces all prices.
Right.
I can get my eggs from here. I can get them there. Canada actually ordered eggs from overseas. And there was a lot more of that kind of trade. But the problem is we point to these things. I used to go crazy when I would watch the gas prices too, thinking, well, yeah, I mean, during COVID, we didn't drive. After COVID, everyone's driving. You could almost track the gas price to this, to this, to this. Eggs, same thing. And oh my God, egg prices are going up. Now I got to buy 2,000 eggs to make up for the next 6 months of eggs. And then I was just reading articles, people throwing away eggs because they bought so many.
Oh, wow.
They couldn't possibly eat them all. And they started going bad. And I thought of the insanity of buying eggs. And this one guy like bought 5 dozen eggs for him and his wife. And I'm like, do you really need 60 eggs? Like, but we like making things. Humans like understanding things. We like feeling safe. I bet you if I grabbed you and you have a 10,000 times deeper knowledge than I, if I said, tell me who was right and wrong with the Vietnam War.
Oh, man. Woo.
You'd be like, you want me to tell you in one sentence?
Yeah, exactly. You could. That's why I tell some of the individuals that I talk to when I get a text message about a meeting, like somebody wanted to come on or something like that, and then they go, "Hey, what do you think?" What do I think? I can't thumb that to you. I gotta call you. I gotta
exactly.
I gotta sit down and explain it to you.
When you're looking at these things and we make them one-liners, egg prices are up. This up now. Are prices generally up? Is shipping issues getting more complicated? Yeah. Another challenge which we didn't even touch, I realized, in this whole equation becomes even the logistics while we're talking about this. I left out the reality of you're doing this all, hopefully build industries here.
Mm-hmm.
A textile mill, not as complicated as a microchip factory.
Right.
Certain ones we might need more than others. Certainly we might need the microchip factory, which in this scenario is more complex than a textile mill. And I realized I was amiss when I didn't even think of how often you'll find reports of people saying we're looking for workers to pick vegetables.
Oh, yeah.
And people don't want to do it.
Right.
But you got the other factor. If you made that iPhone in America, iPhone's going to be $4,000. Is that something the average consumer wants? A $4,000 iPhone? You're not exactly getting a 4-fold raise on your salary.
Right.
So that's all these factors causing the complexity.
You talked about the toy industry as well.
Yes.
What did this do to the toy industry?
Not good.
I can't get my good Star Wars toys anymore that I used to. What's up with that?
Because we don't want to make that here.
Mm-hmm.
We don't. Do you want to have your kids molding plastic or no. And in fact, that was actually, by the way, the best video I ever saw come out of China, where they showed all the workers and they said, do you want to really do this, America? Do you really want this kind of job in New Jersey? In wherever, in Florida, go to Miami, going to west of Orlando and your kid's working in a whatever. But the toy manufacturer, most of these toys are made elsewhere. And I was watching one interview and they were like, no, we're not going to move a factory to America. We won't get the workers. We just know it. It's not worth the time. We will just charge more. And that certainly caused more drama when we also have that American expectation.
Yeah, there you go. Yep, exactly.
We expect that tree to be full.
Yeah.
That's the part that we've not hit. And I'm curious, come August, September, which is not far off now, people start doing their Christmas shopping.
Yep.
And what psychologically occurs, I know Donald Trump said you don't need $30 under the tree, you'll need it too. How many listeners go, but I want 3D. We are America. And I think that availability of anything is now a societal expectation. Once you put the brakes on that,
right? And the society, like you were saying, our own society, we want to buy. If I want, like you said about the eggs, if we want to buy that much, I'm going to buy that much. No one can stop me from buying that much, and I want to buy this much. And do you think someone brought up a good question, a good comment about 3D printing? What has that done?
You could see I'm dying
Yeah,
because it's another complexity in this equation. I love what they're doing with 3D printing of houses, for example.
Right.
I think 3D printing, though, is going to start streamlining a certain part, meaning it's only the cost of the good. You 3D print your house, you just need the concrete and the guy standing there.
Right.
The more you can 3D certain parts. I think it's also going to be interesting where that 3D printing goes to me is that whole right to repair movement.
Yes.
You can print your own pieces.
Yes.
Which fascinates me.
Yep.
But I love 3D printing. That's the question was brilliant from the audience. It was just more, you're adding another piece, valid. But that's where I don't know. Even I love the line. Someone said, "Well, what if this is all the plan?" I'm thinking to myself, I cannot remember what I'm supposed to go shopping for in the supermarket for my wife. So you think people are planning with all these pieces and on top of it with everyone's response? I didn't expect Canada to throw away the Kentucky bourbon.
Right.
A lot of complexity. So these are essentially very big math formulas that we're throwing bricks at, which is not the best way to handle math.
Well, I think now let me add another complexity to this.
Please. My life isn't complex enough. I have a teenage daughter. It's pretty complex.
Ooh, yeah. I got one. I've had two. I got one right now that's becoming a teenager. So yeah, I know that.
Okay.
Man. The Fed.
Yeah, let's just make life complex.
Now, you said on Evan Kursel's podcast about a retail reality check on all this. How does the Fed play in all this, especially with the prime adjusting or not adjusting? Talking about adjusting, we could just print more money with that type of reckless abandon. How is that?
The Fed is currently independent, and I think the thing that makes America great is the independent pieces working together. What I think makes America great is you get 10 voices in a room, so to speak, and 5 don't agree, but the net result is not the average. It's that uniformness, that new direction that no one thought of, that new idea that was a result of something else. The Fed is independent, and I'm saddened when I see it become part of the dialogue. The Fed's job is to do the Fed's job, the rate. Our senator's job is to do their job, to actually read bills, write bills, and oh my goodness. And Congressman's job is that. And I think when you merge across those lines, you're not doing what America does best. 4, 5, 6 independent pieces of the puzzle, double checking each other, saying, wait, not this. So, the Fed's also considering, our debt. They have to look at this. They have to look at who holds the debt, or
I was about to say, who holds the debt? That's another.
And that's like something you have to literally jump on Google, and that also becomes a challenge in terms of China right now is about 850 billion, it says. Japan, 1.1 million. Luxembourg, 350 billion. Canada, 300 billion. I'm saying these random numbers.
Right.
What is the effect, which is also entertaining, if you start saying Canada, we don't like you anymore. You're going to be the 51st state or not like you. Do they, if they sold the 300 billion, that is, I'm doing quick math and I'm probably not going to do it right, about 5% of our debt. And if you take any product and you dramatically sell on a market, we all know what happens. It kind of screws in the market a little bit. It's also the debt. If you look at the top holders of debt, I'm looking at Japan, China, UK, Luxembourg is number.
Luxembourg. I'm surprised at Luxembourg. What's
bingo? Because they're not correlated to. They're not correlated to trade. It's not correlated to that. It's just whoever holds the debt. Like they wanted to. They're trusting the American debt. That becomes an issue, though. You start messing with America. Go America, go, and people say, I'd rather not have as much. Just like that emotional connection you have to that the German drink,
Osbach, the brandy. Yep,
Osbach. I was scared to say it. The brandy. There is a reverse that emotional connection. A lot of our reason, I think, what also made America soar with this is America was the country that saved World War II.
Yeah.
If you're going to hold debt, you're going to hold American debt. They're the guys that came with the Wrigley gum, the Hershey's chocolates.
Yeah.
And I think there was a direct correlation to every time a soldier handed out a Wrigley gum. I'm sure as heck some guy in Luxembourg is like, I don't know, my grandfather told me I have to get American debt. Here I go. I'll buy some. And that emotion switches. We don't isolate any purchase towards just the dollar. There's an emotion.
Right.
Things feel right. Things feel wrong, and connect the dots. Now you got me Googling debt, feeling depressed again. So.
Well,
if I had come on again with the happier topics, we just talk about like raising kids.
Oh my God! Just be happy. Here's some chocolate. Luxembourg has it all.
No, but this is, I think, the complexity that I'm so glad we're speaking to, because I'm trying to make things as uncomplex as possible.
Right.
That's my goal. And my goal is the average person listening to realize these are the pieces. This is why every senator and congressman should be reading bills.
Right. Oh my God.
They have to look and say, what is the effect? Maybe, we're doing, I don't even know if what we did, tariff on Luxembourg. And now I'm looking, you and I go through shock. And if we were running the government, we go, wait a minute. Hey, dude, do you think we should be putting the tariff on Luxembourg? They have one of the top 5 of our debt.
Right.
We really want to mess with them right now.
That's about to say, if we owe so much debt to specific countries, then why are we tariffing? Why are we providing tariffs to them? You know what I mean?
It's part of the complexity.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what I think other countries are thinking. We'll be like, you know what? I don't need this stuff. I don't need this headache. Because that's also, again, that part. I love watching. I encourage every listener, Google shipping maps.
Mm-hmm.
And you watch all the ships go around the world.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Think about how wonderful of a system we are that you can just order something from anywhere. That's how interconnected this world is, which is wonderful. You can't, complex problems cannot often be solved with simplicity, although we'd like to feel that way. Now, singular ones can, in the sense, maybe we want to increase more chip manufacturing in the States, so we don't rely on elsewhere. That could potentially have a benefit, and you could do it penalty with a tariff or encouraging it with subsidies. I'd like to encourage anyone who makes a factory.
I know. NVIDIA decided to do a big shift as well in some of their production, and that was like out of the blue. Was that because of the CHIPS Act, do you think, or?
Well, the other question when you're asking that, though, I don't want to speak to exactly, but these are not 2-minute decisions. Meaning, if I'm going to open a factory in Kentucky,
Right.
That's in the works for the 5 years. Like I think anything that's being affected now, you're going to see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years from now.
Right.
Any factory that opens next Tuesday kicked
Yeah.
in 5 years ago.
Right. Right.
Depending on the complexity. But you know what I'm saying with the chips, like it's microchips. We want to have more of those domestically. That might be one story. Bananas, I'm going back to it. Can we grow it? Do we really want to have, I don't know, greenhouses of bananas all over? And maybe or not. And you have to think to yourself throughout that whole system, what do you ultimately want? What goods do you want? What goods are you worried being manufactured elsewhere? What goods do you feel that has to be better competition? What goods should be increased? And maybe you're doing things saying, I really need to save the Kentucky bourbon industry. So maybe I'll, tariff every other bourbon that's coming in. But it's all a trade at that point.
Right,
That's
right.
where it becomes problematic.
Right.
This leads to this, leads to this, leads to this.
Well, there's also you're right, because there's also a lot of lobbying issues with who wants to own that industry or who wants to wedge themselves into that industry, and you're like, yeah, and then some congressperson will say, yes, I want this banana to grow in my district, and
Well, one of the things I also love to point to
appeals to big banana.
There's this village I saw in India where ships go to die, and they sail the ships, ram them right on the shore. So any vets who were any degree of Navy or Marines, they go ramming cruise ships on the shore, and then the entire village goes out, strips the ships, like of every piece known to man, recycles the ships.
Mm-hmm.
And I watched the video thinking, I wouldn't, if they want to do that, God bless them. Do I want that for Florida to have a ship recycling site?
Right.
You have to think, do we be careful what you wish for? It may come true.
Mm-hmm.
Do you necessarily want certain things coming back? Certain things you should say, you know what, if you guys want to do that, thrilled.
Yeah.
Keep doing it. And that's, I think, part of that complexity. And then, we're seeing it, mind you, the complexities of immigration, the complexities of labor and farms. And then you're having construction sites being emptied out, or people trying to pick fruits and vegetables. And you're like, who's going to do it?
Right.
But then you have to wonder, what other tools do you want to use? Do you want to encourage kids? Say, listen, if you go work in the fields in the summer, we'll give you a scholarship for college. Maybe get more kids going out doing that. If you want to learn a craft, we will encourage that. Get you to trade school and teach you how to work those. But these are not one-size-fit-all hammer problems. That's the ultimate takeaway to me.
Right. I mean, I had a paper route when I was a kid. I didn't want to do that forever. I expected some growth.
Exactly. And certain things build character. I had a paper route, and I'm thrilled. It taught me a ton.
It did.
Oh, I learned so much on that paper route. That still affects me if I had my own little business, my own little route.
Yep.
And certain things we also expect. I mean, how many cups of coffee have you and I had today? I'm sure as heck you just did one just before this interview.
And I'm drinking some tea now, to kind of hydrate me.
Exactly. And I think those needs are there.
Yeah.
And we expect, so you have from the consumer side, the producer side. I mean, the ultimate takeaway I would tell anybody is you have Google in front of you.
Mm-hmm.
Look it up. How many things with this and how many that? And then you say the Luxembourg question you asked yourself. And then you bring up, I don't want to point out Luxembourg. That should not be the prime focus of this takeaway. Is this making sense for ultimately what I want? Do I really, or in certain cases, no, I don't want to tax any country that's going to strip mine a boat for me that I'm never going to want to do,
right?
Or have my kids do. Do it. I'll encourage you to take that. You want to grow bananas and ship them over that we can get bananas for like 19 cents?
Yeah.
great.
Well, why is it aside from the diplomacy portion of it, I mean, aside from some of the back in the day rhetoric, what makes China so bad as far as a economic adversary? You know what I mean? What is it? I thought before all the Taiwan rhetoric was kicking up that we were sort of on good economic terms.
China's a powerhouse.
Right.
They're one of the biggest monsters. I shouldn't say that monster. It's not that. They're one of the biggest powerhouses out there. They're a beast. That was what I was going for when I said monster.
Right.
They're a beast. And inevitably, when you have that, I'd say it's more the equivalent to playing poker with three dudes who have a lot of chips on that table. In addition, I mean, there's certainly other aspects of China. There's human rights aspects. There's communist versus democratic aspects. Economically isolating the question, China is still that economic beast. But, I also don't love bad nor good in the sense I do believe everyone around the earth is just trying to take care of their families, live and breathe. And there's so many complexities. I mean, if we just talk to U.S.-China relations, for example, I mean, there's 100 levels to it. They've also, though, which is interesting, they've built their economy on this manufacturing side. And there's maps you can go to, and you'd be like, I just want microchips. Oh, that's that whole town.
Yeah.
I want vacuums. That's the town. And it's equivalent. Imagine if you went, Philadelphia is our microchip town, and Boston is our car town.
That's why I use North Carolina as the textile, or Detroit would be for cars and automotive industry.
But you mentioned North Carolina state, Detroit. I can take. They have towns, and I think one of the things they've done, which we should be taking inspiration from, their infrastructure is 100,000 times better. They have the trains that can get you from city to city. And, it's not to be a pro train so much as if you're an average worker and you're in the town of equivalent, say Philadelphia, you need to get from your chip town to
No, you're right.
You need to do it in an hour.
Right.
No, I think that's a big issue we're hitting here.
Yeah, I remember in Europe, I backpacked across Europe from Germany to Spain, and I didn't drive a single kilometer throughout the whole thing. I took the trains.
That is also, when it comes to all that manufacturing, which I think is another, to add in another factor, it's just complicated. Let's say you snap your fingers. Let's say you bring textile back to North Carolina. Well, how are you getting those goods as easily across? Do we have the train infrastructure? Do you have the labor? Can you move the labor pool for the kid from Texas to North Carolina?
No.
And already.
Yeah, no, not via trains, not the way we're set up. Which we could go into 4 hours about the complexities of that.
And mind you, okay, so you're going to say we'll get trucks, and we'll say in simple terms, can our roads handle 400,000 trucks coming out of North Carolina? So I think those are the questions that one has to really understand. And when we say, the problem is we're a catchphrase world. You give any phrase 3-4 words, bring it back. We rally with those, whatever it may be.
Just
everything is 4 words. Unfortunately, you have to think, and I encourage policymakers and listeners here to say, dude, I can snap my fingers and make this factory in North Carolina, but what am I going to do with it at that point?
Right.
And we're in a world of a system, the network, the matrix. It's all interconnected.
Ooh, man, don't start talking like that. We're going to have some QAnon people come in here and.
Well, I'm not saying true. I'm not saying the QAnon way, but meaning we are a network. You and I are connected.
Yeah.
We are all connected, and you can't take a connected system and throw a rock through it and say, let's see what happens.
Right.
And simple solutions are throwing the rock. You have to know where everything connects. Probably the John Deere metaphor was a little better. You don't walk up to John Deere and twist one thing and say, why did this all go wrong?
Right, and then you'll have somebody from Belgium come in and tell you why. You'll have somebody from France coming in and tell you why, because John Deere's just like Caterpillar is international as well.
Absolutely.
And so it's or the UK or Australia. I mean, it's a whole another market too as well. So Dominick, hey, thank you so much for hanging out. This was a good talk.
I had such a ball.
This is a good talk. I'm glad you came on.
I am thrilled. Our pre-talk, we're like, we don't know where it's going to go, and yet here we are now.
Yeah. Hopefully we'll solve the problems on the next time you come over.
I'm ready. Next time you'll give me even more lighthearted fare to cover. And we'll do it.
Always a pleasure. Dominick Miserandino.
You got it.
Miserandino.
You got it, my friend.
Thank you for joining us. We're going to go ahead and take a break, but me and Dominick are going to shoot the breeze for a minute while we get set up for the close. So y'all hang out and stand by, and we'll be back in a minute. So shots. We say shots, by the way. That's our fair, you're taking a shot of Osbach. Shot. We'll be right back. Stand by.
WTF Nation Radio. WTF Nation Radio.
Take it from me, Ice. You can't just float around space not caring about stuff forever.
The voice of U.S. Army. WTF Moments. This is WTF Nation Radio.
Shit in the bag, Pogue.
A soldier's tale of wild misdeeds, from the chow hall to the PT grind. You won't believe the things you'll find. Drill sergeant's rage, a fiery storm. Private tensions far from the norm, in the shadows where the secrets lie. Army WTF you can't deny. Army of the stories unfold. In the heart of the chaos the truth is told. From the field to the base the legends grow. Stuck in the mud so deep, a midnight rain, no time for sleep. Emerge straight like golden hand. The strangest sights in this foreign land. Drill sergeant's rage, a fiery storm. Private antics far from the norm, in the shadows where the secrets lie. Army WTF you can't deny. Army of the stories unfold. In the heart of the chaos the truth is told. From the field to the base the legends grow. Army of the force, the madness we know. The mud so deep, a midnight rain, no time for sleep. Emerge straight like golden hand. The strangest sights in this foreign land. Drill sergeant's rage, a fiery storm. Private antics far from the norm, in the shadows where the secrets lie. Army WTF you can't deny. Army of the stories unfold. In the heart of the chaos the truth is told. From the field to the base the legends grow. Army of the force, the madness we know. In the ranks where the wild things roam. Every soldier's got a tale of their own. From the absurd to the downright strange. Army of the force, it never will change. She'll raise a glass to the tales untold. In the Army's world where the brave and bold live the moments that make us say Army of the force every single day.
I am here determined to stop this future atrocity.
This station is now the ultimate power in the universe. I suggest we use it.
The voice of U.S. Army, WTF Moments. This is WTF Nation Radio.
I find your lack of faith disturbing.
Everything stated on WTF Nation Radio is to be considered the opinion of the person that stated it, and not an official representation of WTF Nation Radio or U.S. Army WTF Moments.
Price does not include tax, title, or license. Some assembly required. Each item sold separately. Batteries not included. Objects in mirror are closer than they appear. If conditions persist, contact a physician. Individual results may vary. Keep out of the reach of children. Avoid prolonged exposure to direct sunlight. Keep in a cool, dark place. And
please enjoy the show. Shots.
Oh man, I almost recorded another podcast off air, off the scene, but I had to. I realized I had to talk to you guys still. So apologies. Oh man, thanks Dominic for hanging out. Man, that was a good show. Good stuff. I have definitely been enlightened a little bit on the tariff stuff. I know. I'm pretty sure there's going to be more. There's more. Hang on. I just got some breaking information. Got some updates from the case here. I work at Fort Myer, and needless to say, they weren't happy about checking washers. As a friendly warning, I heard talk that you will be trespassed if you are seen here again. I'm not sure the name. I'm just stopping by, overheard it, and asked if we were allowed to trespass him, and that the go-ahead has been given. That you were seen on post in the buildings. Not an expert on trespassing, so not sure entirely how it works, but I just wanted to let you know in case something popped. Damn! Man, they were legit. They were yeah. Man, they were legit on doing this. Holy crap. Yeah, wow. Oof. Yeah, this is developing. Hang on. Wow, hang on. I matter of fact, I'm gonna respond back. Whoa. Okay. Whew. Isn't it nice that people like us can agree to disagree? Yeah, it's a matter of agree to disagree. We're just open. Open to the discussion is more so. Either if you disagreed or not. I like to hear actually everybody. The whole premise of WTF Nation Radio is to hear all opinions, and to that way we can say, oh, okay, what's going on? All right. So that brings us to the last portion of the show. And I'm not going to go into housekeeping and all that. Wait, do we got anything going on that's important for housekeeping before I discuss housekeeping of excellence? I just want to double check to make sure. So that way I'm not wrong. I know every time if there's anything going on, I don't want to have the team come after me to blah, 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 blah. All right. There's going to be an announcement. I know you guys heard CQ's announcement about what he's going to do for the station and all that. If you guys didn't know, yeah, the 250th anniversary. Yeah, whatever. The Army birthday stuff. Blah 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 blah. Okay, so here's what we're trying to do, real quick. Let me see. Go over housekeeping. Yeah, I'll get to that in a minute. CQ. You guys. Yeah, there's gonna be some announcements. WTF Moments announcements happening on Thursday. For Sergeant's time, there's no guests all the way up into, like for tomorrow, we have CQ with my, the pop culture warrior, also known as CQ. Mike Carrasquillo. Carrasquillo. Man, I'm really messing up the names right now. And then with his angry staff of Mad Mike or Angry Elf, Wednesday is the Sorents. Everyone's drunk. Okay, cool. Wow, really a topic to drink to, huh? The Smoke Pit, Sergeant's Time with myself and Spanky, FTX. Now, it is a bye week, and I think there might be a special, we're just going to see maybe or maybe not, there may be a special FTX happening next this Friday coming up right before the Army birthday. So there might be, I'm going to let CQ, knock all that out. There might be some planning and stuff for the Army birthday, but a special FTX may be playing. Don't forget, we have Saturday weekend co-ops, and And then, Gray Zone Gaming with Valor Gaming too. Gray Zone game with Valor Gaming. There you go. And Stack Up. And WC Nation Gaming, they've been playing it too. They've been doing also community raids. And then a Sunday at the sports bar with the actual King Smith. And what do you hear? What do you say, the coach? And then myself and Massey. Everybody knows that when I have a guest, Massey, I usually wave him off. So that way we can shoot the breeze. And that brings you all the shows. Now, okay, LA. Let's go into the LA specifics right now. Currently, as of as approximately 1,700 soldiers. As a matter of fact, June 9th. There we go. This was released. I don't know what. Not even 35 minutes ago. This is from U.S. Northcom. Update as of today, June 9th, 2025. There are approximately 1,700 soldiers from the 79th Infantry Brigade Combat Team, a California National Guard unit, in a Title 10 status, supporting the lead federal agency in the greater Los Angeles area. Also, I think there are like 700 Marines. 700 Marines. Somebody sent me some video, and I everyone's like, oh, is it AI? I'm trying to find out what platform it was, but it was a Marine Cobra helicopter gunship flying in between the skyscrapers of the greater Los Angeles area. So, all right, let me see if I can. Let me see. Trying to find it. Marines, yes. Yeah, so it is a Marine. It was a Marine Super Cobra. And somebody played a video to it. But hang on, let me show you the screen cap right quick. Of which I can't believe that there is. I never thought I would see this in a situation like that. There we go. There it is. There's a Marine Cobra gunship flying around in LA. Now, everyone's like, dude, what are we doing? My question is, too, what are we doing? Everyone's like, it's because it's got good sensors and stuff. Man, I don't know. I would suggest that in order for everything to de-escalate, everyone needs to calm their shit. Flying a Cobra helicopter around, I don't think helps it. So, my takes, what we all know what will happen if we send the Ranger. That's just training Sarge, exactly. So that's currently the update right now. More discussions on Sergeant's time when we talk about the mobilization and what means of whatever, what means what. That's because I don't think there's anybody here that even knows what right now, what titles are, and nobody can at least explain what is Title 10, what is Title 32. All these experts are coming out of the woodwork, of course. That's the way social media works. So, Title 10 status. Look it up. What do you think of the arrested people in face masks in the United States? I got it from Donald Trump's Facebook. What do you think about people arrested face masks? So now face masks are bad? Is that what you're saying? LA Helm. I don't know. I mean, again, I thought face masks were bad because they would show ill intention, right? But then all the COVID freaks that would get excited about wearing a mask during COVID and being a little overzealous with it sometimes, is it the same thing? Somebody needs to tell Gavin he will end up like Saddam Hussein. I will say this: California's totally dropped the ball on all this. That's just me saying that right now. They have dropped the ball on all of this. A lot of people have dropped the ball on all of this. That's what we're going to talk about on Sergeant's time. Not too political on Sergeant's time about it, but just the breakdown of it. So I think that's it. Y'all got anything for me? Y'all, again, I want to give a shout out to Dominic for hanging out with us, and Dominick Miserandino for hanging out. And again, that was a good talk. Good talk about tariffs. Good talks about just what the hell our finances are all about. So, but anywho, with that, Make sure you share, like, and follow all of our platforms. We're broadcasting live on 5 platforms, 2 Facebook pages at U.S. Army WTF Moments and WTF Nation Radio, 2 YouTube pages at U.S. Army WTF Moments and WTF Nation Radio, and X at WTF Nation Radio. And make sure you keep an eye out for, Bolo out for Viva La Vargas. We're all kind of like watching to make sure that, he does not get hemmed up. And pay close attention to the socials for Army 250th anniversary posts. So with that, y'all have a good night. See ya. Shots.
WTF Nation Radio. WTF Nation Radio.
Sometimes when I look at, I don't know if I'm allowed to say this, I think it's WTF Army or something.
The voice of U.S. Army, WTF Moments. This is WTF Nation Radio.
Hey, this is SEAC retired John Wayne Troxel. You're listening to WTF Nation Radio, the station of choice for all of the badass MFers on the planet.
The voice of U.S. Army, WTF Moments. This is WTF Nation Radio.
Driving us insane. ATF 0 dark 30, no time to complain. Push ups in the mud, feel the muscle strain. Army life is a wild ride. WTF moments can't hide. Through the fire we survive, in the ranks we thrive. It's WTF moments in the Army's grind. Through the blood and sweat we find our kind. In the chaos and the fire we stand aligned. Warriors forged in the battle's bind. Hilltops in the desert, sandstorms in our eyes. Memories for breakfast, no room for lies. Running watches through the night under starless skies. Brothers and sisters, we rise. Army life, it's a wild ride. WTF moments can't hide. Through the fire we survive. In the ranks we thrive. It's WTF moments in the Army's grind. Through the blood and sweat we find our kind. In the chaos and the fire we stand aligned. Warriors forged in the battle's bind. Drill sergeant fury echoing in the air. Discipline and duty we all must bear. Battle bodies by our side in the fight we share. In the face of danger we dare. Army life, it's a wild ride. WTF moments can't hide. Through the fire we survive. In the ranks we thrive. It's WTF moments in the Army's grind. Through the blood and sweat we find our kind. In the chaos and the fire we stand aligned. Warriors forged in the battle's bind. Zones and firefights, adrenaline's rush. Silent nights, broken by the enemy's hush. Medics on the move in the heat of the crush. In the heart of battle we trust. It's WTF moments in the Army's grind. Through the blood and sweat we find out our kind. In the chaos and the fire we stand aligned. Warriors forged in the battle. Army life, it's a wild ride. WTF moments can't hide. Through the fire we survive. In the ranks we thrive. Memories in our mind. Brothers lost but never left behind. Army WTF moments in the stories we find. In the Army's embrace, we're forever entwined. It's WTF moments in the Army's grind. Through the blood and sweat we find our kind. In the chaos and the fire we stand aligned. Warriors forged in the battle's bind. Through the smoke and the flames we rise again. In the heart of the storm we find our sin. Battle buddies by our side, our men. In the Army's legacy we transcend.
Everything stated on WTF Nation Radio is to be considered the opinion of the person that stated it, and not an official representation of WTF Nation Radio or U.S. Army WTF Moments.
Price does not include tax, title, or license. Some assembly required. Each item sold separately. Batteries not included. Objects in mirror are closer than they appear. If conditions persist, contact a physician. Individual results may vary. Keep out of the reach of children. Avoid prolonged exposure to direct sunlight. Keep in a cool, dark place. And
please enjoy the show. Shots.
There are many simple things in the world. Shovels. They are all different. Gardening shovel. Unloading shovel. Children's shovel. But there is also a different shovel. We use it when we come to the position. In short time, it helps us dig a trench which saves us from bullets. If a tank will pass over the trench, there is a high probability that it will not cause any harm to the soldier. We dig in the ground, deeper, and then connect the trenches with our friends to the left. In just a few hours, trenches are all connected. When we do not have an axe, we can use a shovel to cut a loaf of bread. A soldier uses a shovel as a paddle, crossing the wide river under enemy fire. If we run out of ammunition, we will use a shovel again. And then we'll move on. And when we get the order to stop, we'll take a shovel again and build around us an impregnable fortress. This fortress is defended by the army of Ukraine, our army.